All right, what is up, tycoons? What's up, traders? Super excited for today's video. We have to talk about energy, okay? So I'm going to break down a bunch of different energy charts, and the reason being is because OPEC just cut oil production. Billionaires and large institutions such as Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. We're talking about BlackRock. We're talking about Goldman Sachs, guys. I've been covering it, and they've all been bullish on energy. And so I'm going to break down a few different charts and show you guys some different scenarios that could play out and the things in particular that I'm looking at when it comes to energy. So make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're going to start off here with the XLE divided by XLK chart. What this is energy divided by tech. So when this goes down, this means that tech is outperforming energy. Okay, and when this goes up, this means that energy is outperforming tech. And you can see we have a giant cup and handle right here. Really, really nice to me. I've been watching it, and I made some videos when we were right over here in this time period saying that we're possibly forming the handle now, and energy has started to outperform tech here recently, most notably around the OPEC announcement. But before we dive any further, okay, the content provided in this YouTube channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor or broker. Trading in stocks, bonds, commodities, crypto involves a significant risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. So make sure to read through the full disclaimer. We're going to go ahead and jump into the next chart here. And this is XLE divided by SPYs. Okay. So when this goes up, this means that XLE is outperforming relative to the S&P 500. Markets tend to move in 5-wave and 3-wave structures, and your 3-wave structures tend to be correction waves. That's what these ABCs are right here. And I pointed out that, hey, I think we're going to start and see an ABC here. And, if that doesn't turn into a 5-wave move down lower, then we could be actually starting the next impulsive move to the upside, bringing the XLE SPY ratio chart up to potentially the 0.3 to 0.34 region, right? And so that's what I'm going to be looking for, right? We had our initial 5-wave impulsive move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that took us up here to this supply zone. And now if we get that next move, okay, that's going to take us with another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to the next supply zone overhead, right around that point, 32 to 0.34 area. So I'm seeing different charts, okay, whether it's energy stocks, whether it's oil stocks, whether it's ratio charts like this with XLE divided by SPY, or remember that XLE divided by XLK. We're seeing potential bullish setups in a lot of these, and the OPEC production cut may be the catalyst to really push energy prices up higher. All right. Now, in particular, I did have someone ask for me to look at nrgu. I do viewer request every single week. So as always, I'm going to go ahead and break down nrgu for you guys. If you don't know, this is the microsectors US Big Oil Index. It's a 3x leveraged ETF. So it's very risky, okay, trading in these extremely leveraged positions, but I see a few patterns right here, right? So on a macro sense, we are in this more of a symmetrical triangle pattern, maybe even a wedge, all right, indicated by the two trend lines on the top and the bottom. All right, and we recently tested the bottom of this wedge and have gotten a nice bounce. What I'm looking at currently, though, is we have a cup and handle right here, right? So here's our cup, and we're forming a handle. This little channel right here is going to be the handle for our cup and handle. So if we can break above this channel, we have the potential to come up to 487. Now that's going to be our 61.8% retracement level of resistance. So that's a major area of resistance. And if we can break out above there and flip that to support, then we could get this larger inverse head and shoulders to play out, right? Now we only have the left shoulder and the head right now, but if we continue in a downwards motion through this bearish channel right here before our breakout, okay, then that ultimately is going to put us right in position for a right shoulder, right? So then we would have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. The 61.8% level of support is 353.89. So that's a really key area of support, right? If we break below there, most likely we're going to be bearish and retest the bottom of this trend line. And if we break above 487.13, then we have a good chance of hitting the top of this trend line and, ultimately looking for the bigger breakout, whether it's a breakout to the upside or whether it's a breakdown to the downside. We're going to keep our, mind open to both possible scenarios. But for right now, we have seen a lot of bullish catalysts towards energy. Now, this is USO. One of the Discord members actually did a really good trade. He messaged me and said that USO was one of his biggest trades in a little while. So that was, very great to hear that. And it followed the technicals very, very well, guys. I mean, when you look at this demand zone that we had pointed out here, it consolidated right here for about 3 or 4 days. And ultimately, we saw a large increase in demand. We're currently above our 61.8% retracement level of 65.68. So ultimately, we want to stay above this level. If we can consolidate and really just stay above this level, as you see, we popped up way past there. Okay, and we hit our breakout level, but we haven't really gotten able to see a breakout. There's a really big gap down, which has the potential to fill, but ultimately, as I mentioned, above this 65.68 is where we have potential really to stay bullish and really try to get above that breakout level and hit some of our bullish price targets. So 70.53 is still that relevant breakout level. We're still fighting that currently at the moment. All right. And if we can continue to push higher, we do have a small supply zone overhead, right? And above that supply zone, we have our bullish price targets of 73.99 as well as 75.79. So, if we just move sideways and chop sideways, this could turn into bull flag consolidation, and we would be looking for the breakout. Otherwise, be mindful of the potential gap fill, as we've really been dancing on the top of this gap for about 3 or 4 days, and we could come down and fill some of that gap. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that a half gap fill is a bullish indicator. So let's say we start to fill this gap, but we only come down and fill about half of this gap. All right, and we start pushing back up, that is going to be a little bit of a bullish indicator. So even if we start filling it, just be mindful of, right around the halfway point of that. If we end up finding some support halfway around there, it could be a good sign that things are going to continue heading back upwards. And if not, most likely we're going to fill the rest of the gap and come back down if we don't find support in there. Okay. Now, one thing I also want to highlight is that the setup on USO was very, very clean, right? We had this demand zone that I spoke of. If you take a look here, we have a low and then we have a lower low, right? And we had bullish divergence here building on the MACD, right? We had this low at the same point we had a low, and then we had a higher low at the same point we had a lower low. So the price of USO was going down, but the MACD was going up. In this case, that's known as a bullish divergence. So we had bullish divergence in our demand zone, and we saw a very strong push up, huge move, guys, from $58 all the way up to $70. Big gains there to be made. And we were also oversold on the relative strength index at these levels here too. So we really had about 3 bullish indicators to potentially head in on USO. And I've been covering USO. I've been covering a lot of these energy stocks here recently. This is XLE, the daily chart. Now, to me, this looks like we had a liquidity grab to ultimately push things higher. Reason being is we were trading in this channel here, this bearish channel we had, and we dipped down below. There were a couple gaps down to fill. We did not fill the second gap down, but we did fill this smaller first gap down, and then we consolidated here. And to me, this looks like a liquidity grab from this channel, and then we actually really pushed back up higher. Now we're currently above our support level here of 84.88, and above 84.88 is when we have potential to test the top of this trend line for our bearish channel. And if we can get there, the true breakout level is going to be 94.85. That's our most recent highs. Above 94.85, we have 103 as a bullish price target. I mentioned the MACD on the last chart. You can also use it to spot potential entry and exit signals based on the crossovers. So here we see we have a red line crossing below the blue line. That's a sell signal. And you see here we have a sharp move to the downside. Then afterwards, we get an entry signal with the red line crossing above the blue line, and we get a strong move to the upside. Over here recently, we got a red line crossing above the blue line, and that's an entry signal. And we've had a very strong push up from about $75 up to about $85, on the XLE chart. So that's really great to see. Over here we have Gush. Okay, so Gush is the next one that I'm taking a look at, which is the 2x leveraged one. 2x leveraged oil and gas exposure ETF. And we had this descending triangle right here, and we did get a breakdown of this descending triangle, but we came right into our demand zone here and found support. The MACD was ranging at this time period, and so we were looking to see for a big move. We ended up getting a sell signal with that red line crossing below the blue line, right? And we sold off into our demand zone here. And we actually got a crossover very shortly afterwards in that demand zone, and gave us a nice entry signal. Now we're still fighting 133.24 as a major resistance. Above what there we have 141.45, and so we're going to see if this was a look below and fail, and we can actually get a bullish breakout here on this. Essentially on this trend line here that we've been testing for a while. So that's one thing that I'm watching. Initially, we did have bullish divergence here as well, on the on Gush on the daily time frame, but we've broken out from that channel and from this trend line here. And so what we really need is to find some support along this former resistance trend line and try to push back up higher. So that's it. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on energy, some of the different energy stocks that I'm looking, as well as cover NRGU for that viewer request. I do those every single week. So if you want to see your stock in the next video, all you got to do is comment down below and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Feel free to email me at zackleytrades@gmail.com. If you guys are interested in booking a one-on-one session, we can do that via Zoom and, just go over some things. Make sure to include what you would like to go over. If there's any specific things or lessons that you would like me to go over, shoot me an email at zackleytrades@gmail.com. You guys can join the Discord, trade with us, gain access to all of our live market updates, as well as the plethora of intel and data resources in there, such as dark pool activity. We have large institutional block orders. We have sweeps, golden sweeps channel. We have a stock bot. We have two different AI trading bots in there as well. It's a ton of stuff. So if you want to join the Discord, the link is in the description. For the month of April, you guys can get 50% off your first month by using code ZACHLY2. That's ZACHLY, then the number 2. That will get you guys a discount, 50% off on your first month membership. But it only works through the end of April, so use it quickly.